Yo yo yo, this is Sol, also known as Espiel Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. Yeah, this team's called Grunt. And this is Pokemon Masters EX. Guys, today we are going to discuss about Guzma and Buzzwole, the second to the last of the special outfit or special costume sync pairs that have come out in the month of October 2021. And before I begin, guys, if you have been watching my videos for the longest time and haven't subscribed yet, do consider subscribing. You'll be helping out the channel, and you know, you've been watching a lot anyway, so what are you missing? Just click on the subscribe button if you haven't, and if you are enjoying this at any point in the video, do hit the thumbs up button. You'll be helping out the channel a lot, and that will help this video get, you know, sent out to other people who are interested in Pokemon Masters and so on and so forth. So with that said, the intro is over, guys. Yeah, this sync pair, Guzma, is the boss of Team Skull, which, you know, I'm in a Team Skull outfit right now. Stole Guzma's pendant or whatsoever. Anyway, yeah, this sync pair is the one that I'm actually most excited about out of the four, because the way you use him is strange. And by strange, you need to miss your attacks in order to dish out more damage. But we're going to that later. In the meantime, just, you know, these are the sync pairs that have come out or are coming this month. So we have already seen Cosplay Diantha, we have already seen Cosplay HILDA. Diantha and Champion Iris came out yesterday if you've been watching my premiere. And then tomorrow we will have Guzma, Thursday, November 11 for Asia. Or for those in the West, probably 10 evening or something like that. And 1 week after this, we will have the last one out of the four, which is Cosplay Jasmine. But keep in mind that we might get a new sync pair by November 20 something, because the distance, normally, you know, the game releases a sync pair on 20 something of the month, and I just feel sus that there's no new sync pair coming on the 20 something. Well, granted that by November 25 rather, we will be having Pokemon Masters Day, which we will be getting a free multi-pull, 25 gems, 25 non-paid gems multi-pull, which is essentially free because we receive 20 gems every single day. You just need to use 5 more gems in order to pull for that banner. And it's a regular Spotlight Scout banner with no featured units as far as I'm aware. And yeah, it's just a regular multi-pull, 7% chance probably of getting a 5-star, and so on like that. So we're talking about Guzma, and this is what Guzma's background image looks like. If you are able to scout for Guzma and you suddenly see that background, congratulations, you have obtained Guzma, or Cosplay Guzma in Buzzwole. Now let's enjoy his sync move animation. Hurry up. Lucario deserves better. Anyway, in the Pokemon anime, Lucario Mega Evolved, so probably that's cool. So, his interesting kit involves missing. So there's Dynamic Punch, there's Hammer Arm. Dynamic Punch is a 4-move gauge attack, 50% accuracy, and if you're able to hit the enemy gets confused. Meanwhile, Hammer Arm is a 90% accuracy attack, 3-move gauge, and lowers your speed stat by 1. Very, very interesting. His trainer moves X Sure Hit, applies the Sure Hit next, to the user. So if you want to use Dynamic Punch, probably use Extra Hit first. Then you'll be able to hit the enemy for sure using Dynamic Punch. Then Show No Mercy is 1 MP. Raises or maximizes your attack stat plus 6. Raises or maximizes your critical hit rate plus 3. And then lowers your defense and special defense minus 1. So you just need to use 1, Show No Mercy, and your critical hit rate and attack stat are max unless the opponent somehow reduces your attack stat and stuff like that. Now his sync move, no multipliers there, and his passive skills over here. Victory Charge 2, if you're able to defeat the opponent, your move gauge gets charged by 2. This is a little bit less, downgraded, I think, personally, from Fall Hilbert's passive skill, which I forgot what name it is, wherein every single opponent or team member that faints, your move gauge charges up. This one, Guzma has to defeat the opponent himself before the move gets charged by 2. Super Sinker. After you use your sync move for the first time, you'll have a super effective up next effect on Guzma. And then Tenacity 3, every time your attack misses, you will have a physical moves up next effect by 3 ranks. Now this is a brand new multiplier. Physical moves next, or physical moves up next effect. If I'm not mistaken, it adds an additional 40 damage or 40% damage to your it's like a multiplier, 40% more damage. Correct me if I'm wrong, if it's higher than 40%, or is it 20? I think it's 40. Thing is, you can stack this up. So if you miss again, it will raise your physical move next up again by 3 stat ranks. You can stack this up until 10 stat ranks. So the more you miss, the stronger your next move will be. Because Guzma's moves are physical attacks. And we have we're still questioning this. Probably by the time this video is uploaded, Pokemon Masters will be posting Guzma's preview video already, which will confirm if physical moves up next effect will also apply to sync moves or not. But for the sake of just assume that this will only apply to normal attacks. That's Dynamic Punch and Hammer Arm. And if we're lucky, if this thing stacks up with sync moves, then that will be even more awesome. But yeah, you can stack this up until 10 stat ranks. And the way to stack is to miss attacks. How to miss attacks? Dynamic Punch, 50% accuracy. So there's a high chance you're gonna miss, especially if the opponent likes to increase its evasiveness. And then Hammer Arm, only 90% accuracy unless you get accuracy plus 10. But then every time you use Hammer Arm, your speed gets lowered. And Guzma gets slower and slower and slower. This is... if you are a new player in the game, if you do not have a decent fighting type, Guzma might be difficult to use, especially if you do not have mechanics, the game's mechanics familiarized. You might have a hard time using Guzma. But if you're looking for a challenge, if you are like me, who's probably bored of the normal way of obliterating opponents, Guzma might be interesting to use, and I'm looking forward to Guzma for this particular reason. Now, his attack stat is at 347. His defense stats are low, but typical for a striker. He is, contrary to what people are saying, this guy is not a glass cannon. His defense stats, what I consider glass cannons, are any defense stat in the 110 or below. And at 139 and 133, I think he can tank not exactly well, but as a striker, he has pretty decent defense stats. And yeah, just imagine Luzamine's defense stat. I think it's below 100 and it's just horrible. Guzma at least is above 130. So, you know, he can maximize his critical hit rate. So the proper or the best lucky skill to give him will be Critical Strike 2. And I don't think any other lucky skill will be good. Power Flux 3 is like a consolation prize if you fail to get Critical Strike 1 or 2. But keep note or take note that Power Flux 3 will not apply to sync moves. Only Critical Strike 2 or 1 applies to sync moves. So that's why you want to give Critical Strike to him. Now, if you're not familiar with Critical Strike or Power Flux, they can be obtained from crunchy lucky cookies. Now, Battle Villa is out now. Don't forget to play Battle Villa every single day for co-op. And I haven't exactly played my Battle Villa yet. I'm waiting for Guzma to come out and I'll decide whether I want to use Guzma in Battle Villa or not. So, this is his grid, as you can see over here. Something is wrong with my background image. Anyway, 1 out of 5, he gets a weird accuracy ceiling. Basically, your accuracy cannot be raised. I would understand why he has this. I mean, if you want him to miss attacks, if you want Tenacity 3 to take effect, you want to give him accuracy ceiling, especially if you are using him together with Sabrina, which I'm not sure why you want to use Sabrina with him, because Sabrina increases special attack. Although Sabrina can recover, Sabrina can also raise accuracy. There's also Lily who can raise accuracy. And yeah, if you give him accuracy ceiling, his accuracy stat cannot be raised. And that way, you will be able to somehow miss attacks in order to get Tenacity 3 to work. Tenacity 3 again, miss attacks, you will have, or you will start to stack physical moves up next effect. X Sure Hit MP Refresh 1, 20% chance of restoring MP of X Sure Hit. 2 out of 5, you get Dynamic Entry. Applies the Sure Hit Next effect to the user when you enter the battle. So, if you wanna just attack the opponent, make it confuse at the start of the battle. Probably give Dynamic Entry, first move, Dynamic Punch, and that's it. Dynamic Punch Consolation Prize 1. Whenever you miss Dynamic Punch, you will be able to charge your move gauge by 1 if you get Consolation Prize 1. Headstrong, your attack stat cannot be lowered. That's good because once you use Show No Mercy, your attack stat is maxed already. Show No Mercy MP Refresh 2, I don't see the use of getting this because for one, your attack stat and critical hit rate gets maxed already and you do not raise any other stat. You lower your defense and special defense. So there's no point getting this. X Sure Hit MP Refresh 2. Another X Sure Hit, so this is like an MP refresh. So you'll be able to probably surely hit the enemy more times. Now 3 out of 5, things get interesting. He gets Confusion Synergy 1 on Dynamic Punch. Basically, if the opponent is confused, which if you use Dynamic Punch and hit the opponent gets confused. Your Dynamic Punch gets powered up a little bit. Fuzzy Strike 5 is a confusion sync move multiplier. If the opponent's confused, 50%, around that amount more damage. Haymaker, the higher your attack stat is, the stronger your sync move is, which you can maximize your attack stat immediately. Super Victory. When you are able to defeat the opponent using Guzma and Buzzwole, you get a super effective up next effect. So if the opponent is weak to fighting type moves, your attacks or sync moves get more powered up. And then super duper effective one, if the opponent's weak to fighting type moves, your attacks get powered up. Sync freebie, if you use a sync move, your next move will be free. Tenacity 1 is similar to Tenacity 3, except that if you miss an attack, your physical move up next effect will be stacked +1. So an additional 1. So if you get Tenacity 3 and Tenacity 1, when you miss an attack, your physical moves next or physical moves up effect will be +4. And then 2 sync nuke tiles over here. So yeah, that's a brief overview of Guzma's kit, which we will be comparing with other sync pairs later on. But in the meantime, this is how I would build 1 out of 5 Guzma. So 1 out of 5, no problem. You can maximize, you can get everything. Now, it's your choice whether to get accuracy ceiling or not. If you get it, you will have 5 remaining energy. Or rather, if you don't get it, you will have 5 remaining energy to use probably in the future. But if you get it, exactly 0 energy left. 2 out of 5, I would build him either Dynamic Punch or Hammer Arm. For Dynamic Punch build, I went for Dynamic Entry so that your first move will surely hit the enemy. And then we got Dynamic Punch Consolation Prize 1. So if you miss, your move gauge gets charged up by 1. We got a Dynamic Punch move gauge refresh 3, 40% chance of bringing back 1 move gauge. Powered up Dynamic Punch, Dynamic Punch, Dynamic Punch over there. And yep, that's it. Now, I'm looking for that extra X-Sure Hit MP. Oh, there it is, guys. We got X-Sure Hit MP Refresh 1 and MP Refresh 2 over there. So probably will be helpful eventually. Now, if we want a move or a Hammer Arm build, this is somehow how I would build this. So we go for the bottom left parameters or bottom left grid. We got a Hammer Arm accuracy +10, which basically makes Hammer Arm have a 100% accuracy. But remember that every time you use Hammer Arm, your speed stat gets lowered. So this way, we are not powering up Dynamic Punch. But if we want to trigger Tenacity, we just use Dynamic Punch, hopefully miss the opponent's attack, and focus on Hammer Arm. And if we want to make Dynamic Punch be able to hit the enemy, we get an X-Sure Hit, and then we use Dynamic Punch, and then go back to Hammer Arm, Hammer Arm, Hammer Arm with this build. But personally, I'll do Dynamic Punch build instead of Hammer Arm. And then at 3 out of 5, there's so many options, but for me, I'll probably pick this option. So I'm going for the sync move multipliers right away. That's Haymaker and Fuzzy Strike 5. Haymaker, the higher attack stat is, the stronger the sync move. Fuzzy Strike 5, if the opponent is confused, sync moves get powered up. We got 2 sync nuke tiles over here, and I had to sacrifice some things. We do not get Super Victory, which gives us a super effective up next when we are able to hit the opponent with a sync move. We failed to get Tenacity 1 to, you know, if we miss an attack, we get the physical moves next physical moves up next effect plus another 1. But we got Dynamic Punch move gauge refresh 3 and Dynamic Punch consolation prize 1. Because I think in this build, I want to use Dynamic Punch, Dynamic Punch, and Dynamic Punch. I did not get Confusion Synergy 1 because lack of energy. But I think this build should work somehow. Personal build, this will be what I'll be using when I get Guzma. I think, you know, eventually we'll be experimenting. I did not get an MP refresh with extra hit. Probably I'll get this eventually, but we'll just have to see once Guzma comes out. But in the meantime, that will be my build for Guzma. So we go back to our slide. And then, you know, again, done with Guzma. We are... What happened to my slide? Okay. So again, bird's eye view of everyone. Diantha already came out. HILDA already came out. Guzma coming out tomorrow. Jasmine coming out 1 week after tomorrow. And then Diantha and Champion Iris already came out yesterday. You can do daily discounts of each one, 100 gems each day. I thought we will be able to do 3 daily discounts on Diantha and Champion Iris. Apparently, only 1, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on how many gems you want to save up. So, now we compare them. I already did this for the past several sync pairs, but as you can see over here, the Diantha actually has the highest HP attack or special attack stat because all of them only use 1 stat, or either attack or special attack. And then HILDA has the highest speed out of everyone. Guzma has the lowest HP, defense, and special defense out of everyone. And Jasmine has the lowest attack or special attack, but the highest defense and special defense out of everyone, and the lowest speed. So Guzma over here, his stats might look bad, but his multipliers actually look quite good. So yeah, already discussed this. If you haven't seen my overall analysis video, you can check them out. Links will be in the description for Diantha, HILDA, Guzma, and the overall who to scout for November sync pairs, who to scout for. Guzma has the highest multipliers, or the most number of multipliers. Now again, keep in mind that physical moves up next effect might not work with sync moves. That will be something that we will discover soon. If the trailer or if the move preview of Guzma came out in the Twitter page of Pokemon Masters, you'll probably know that if they reveal it or not. But that's a disclaimer. And now if we add Champion Iris and Diantha over here, again, Guzma still has the highest multipliers, the most multipliers out of everyone. And if, again, if physical moves up next effect actually work with sync moves as well, Guzma will be the striker that has the most number of multipliers out of every single striker available in the game right now. So now you might be asking, what about comparison with other fighting types? Well, I've done this with Diantha, now let's do this with Guzma. So Guzma over here, interestingly, has the lowest attack stat out of everyone. Out of Bay, out of Corina, out of Spring May, out of Wally. Guzma has the lowest attack stat. Special attack is ignored. We're not considering that. And then the other stats are just somewhere in the center. Strange. Interesting. Strange. But if we actually look, look past through this and focus on the multipliers, just check the number of multipliers Guzma has compared to these other strikers. Bay only has critical strike 3 and inertia. Corina only has power reserves 5. Spring May only has HP advantage 3 and ramming speed. Wally has critical strike 1, ramming speed, and cakewalk, which I've already discussed about Wally in the past, and this multiplier, cakewalk, is extremely difficult to do with Wally alone. because Wally cannot lower the opponent's speed after he uses his first sync move. So, difficult. Meanwhile, Bay is currently the strongest fighting type striker in terms of sync move. But we'll see if Guzma will be able to topple him. So in terms of sync move, in terms of DPS and everything, now again, I wanted to thank Jack and Bernard for doing this in my Discord. Again, there are several mechanics here, maximum 20 out of 20 if I'm not mistaken. Then there's a unity bonus. Imagine there's a super effective up next for everyone, and then just get all the sync grid tiles and everything. And this is what we come up with. Guzma will get the highest DPS. Now, or rather, highest attack damage. I don't know how this is actually computed, as you might hear me say in my videos. I'm not exactly into numbers. So, Guzma, this is considering his strongest move hits. That's Dynamic Punch. But that's a 4 move gauge attack. And the others can hit faster with lower move gauge attacks. So how does DPS actually work? Anyway, who cares about that? But let's just talk numbers. Guzma potentially has the highest number or amount of damage. This, by the way, is taking note that the physical moves up next effect is maxed plus 10 or stacked 10 times. Potentially can hit up to 11,583,200 damage. Compare it to all the other ones, it just does not. It's so far, it's not even comparable. And if Guzma actually, if the physical moves up next effect actually applies with sync moves, he can potentially hit everyone, because 6-star EX striker with a 31,727,900, which I'll just let you guys absorb this on your own. Now, there's also another, if we remove Corina from the occasion and put the other one in, which is Solgaleo, who has more attack move multipliers, but the sync move is a steel type, so we're not gonna exactly consider the sync move multiplier. Solgaleo actually has the highest DPS out of everyone before Guzma comes in. And probably before Diantha comes in. I forgot. Who has the higher DPS? Was it Diantha or was it Solgaleo? Anyway, Solgaleo just cannot compare to the 11,583,200. And again, the sync move is just insane. Now, what about Diantha? Diantha over here is a texting pair. And normally texting pairs just outdamage strikers in terms of sync move multipliers. So, very easy to trigger Diantha's multipliers. In the meantime, Guzma multipliers kind of tough to trigger, very challenging. I would consider or call Guzma and Buzzwole like muscle-bound freaks. It's like the epitome of that description. Clumsy muscle freaks. Clumsy because you have to miss attacks. And yeah, if we compare the damage, okay, Solgaleo has the higher DPS. Guzma, potentially 10 stack, 11,583,200. Diantha, 2,404,242. So as for sync move damage, 20 million on the Diantha, and again, if physical moves up next effect happen with Guzma, potentially 31,727,000. But what if we do not get the physical moves next effect, physical moves up next effect on Guzma? Yes, I told them to do the computations, and this is what we come up with. 6,345,580 if the sync or the physical moves up next effect do not work on Guzma. This amount is not exactly low. If we bring back this comparison, he has the second highest sync nuke damage out of these fighting types. Again, we are not considering KELDEO over there. But Guzma, 6 million, Bay, 8 million, and the others are just low. So Guzma, not too bad, not too bad. Again, this is considering that everyone has the super effective up next effect. That's part of their combination or something like that. But again, if physical moves next effect apply to Guzma, this is what he is capable of. We're just, you know, comparing and contrasting just so you guys will have something to either look forward to or not forward to. Then again, I would be interested in using him, but for people who lack fighting types, who are probably new to the game, is scouting for Guzma worth it? My answer will be, it depends on you. it's hard to recommend scouting for Guzma if you're a new player, because his mechanics, people call him a meme unit. He's gonna be difficult to use. That's all. And normally I like to end with this slide, but honestly, Guzma is not meta. He's meme. He's a meme unit. And, you know, scout for whoever you want, honestly. I want to scout for Guzma because Team Skull, and at the same time, Guzma interests me. But you do you, guys. You do you. If you want to scout for Guzma, then go ahead, scout for Guzma. If you want to save your gems, save your gems. If you want to skip, skip. If you want to watch people use Guzma first before deciding, then stay tuned, because I'm gonna scout for Guzma to 3 out of 5 on day 1. And, you know, just tune in to my scouting stream and stuff, and wish me the best of luck, because there's still more sync pairs coming. There's still Jasmine, and I'm pretty sure that Pokemon Masters has a surprise for us end of the month or next month. And with that said, that wraps up my analysis for Guzma. Where the heck is my thing? That wraps up my analysis for Guzma. Again, Guzma's coming tomorrow. There's still Jasmine. As for the rest, they're already out. Best of luck to those who want to scout. And, you know, if you've watched until the end, again, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. Really helps with the channel. And again, if you've been watching and haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Thank you to my awesome members up there. Thank you to Shadowphil, Marcella, and all you guys up there. I don't wanna, my mind is messed up right now. It's 5 and I normally am asleep by this time, so my mind is kind of dead right now. I'm trying to record this and rushing to bed right after. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much. If you want to join the members, do click on the join button down below and help out the channel. Thank you once again to all you guys up there for your continued support. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. 1 year. Once you reach 1 year again, I have surprises for you. Just make sure you're willing to share your address to me because I'm shipping them to you guys. Anyway, thank you. That concludes my analysis for Guzma and Buzzwole. And best of luck with your scouts. I'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, this is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. Your artist team's called Grunt. See you in the next one. Right.